Hello. So I wanted to make a quick video about some more weird things I've discovered about this Astroworld situation. Just some more coincidences. So last video I made, I mentioned this connection with Pearl Jam that some people have noticed. Basically, quick recap: Travis Scott released a song just before this concert called Escape Plan, and obviously people were trapped in this concert, so it's a very unfortunate title for a song to release. But in the video, he's wearing a Pearl Jam top. Of all the tops he could have worn, it was a Pearl Jam, and that's an unfortunate coincidence because Pearl Jam also had a very similar tragedy. They had a concert in 2000, they had 50,000 fans there, 50,000 at Astroworld. 8 people died on the night, and a ninth person was died in hospital 5 days later. And at Astroworld, 8 people died on the day. Then ninth died 5 days later in hospital. There is a 10th person that's died now, 9 days after that, but there's still that 8 and then the 9 is kind of weird. And then also Pearl Jam released an album just before their concert called Binaural, and it had this figure 8 with the eye of God in the middle. This is their merchandise, big figure 8 with the eye, and the 8 people died on the night. Very strange. And it's an actual picture from a Hubble Space Telescope of a nebula. It's not photoshopped. It's a real nebula. It's an hourglass, the engraved hourglass nebula. Nicknamed the Eye of God. So that's a real picture. And then Travis Scott at his concert, the first song, he had these 8 flames with the Eye of God looking around. And it's just really weird link-ups. Very weird connections there. Well, basically, I've found a whole load more coincidences. So the first thing I thought of was I just suddenly realised that the title of the album is called Binaural, and I realised it made me think of binaural beats, and people were talking about the frequencies in Travis Scott's Astroworld, where they were pumping out these weird frequency signals all day on the stage where he was going to perform, and people said it was making them feel strange. Some people were passing out and they were getting agitated. Just a few people were saying that, but there were definitely these beats, weird sirens and sounds coming out. And I kind of originally thought, well, I'd heard things about this, about how you can use frequencies to affect people's moods and stuff, but I didn't think there'd be that much in it. But then I, made me think of binaural beats, and binaural beats it does seem to have some legitimacy to it. There's a WebMD page here, Healthline here, talking about binaural beats and how they can affect your mood, and they can actually make you. This is all positive. It's supposed to be. It helps you alleviate anxiety, and it's supposed to be good for your health. But if it works for a positive effect, then theoretically you should be able to use frequencies negatively as well, you would think. Some people link it as well to astral projection, some kind of like the theta waves or something, the theta binaural beats, astral projection. I've got no idea whether it's true or not, but it seems to be some legitimacy to it. I believe binaural beats, you have to use headphones, I think, for it to work. So I'm not an expert, I haven't looked into it. I don't know whether you could use it whether you could project it at a concert through speakers. But there seems to be some legitimacy to the idea that frequencies maybe can affect people's moods in fairly significant ways. So that was a link up. And the name of the Pearl Jam album is Binaural, which is another hit. And I was trying to think, what are the odds of that? Because I went to this website here. It's got the top 500 greatest albums of all time. I was just trying to think, how many album titles could there be? Of all the album titles they could have named their album, how many could there be that I could have linked up with this Travis Scott Astroworld Festival? And there's a couple, like the top one, Arcade Fire Funeral. I would have been saying, oh, that's a link, that's coincidental. His one, Suicide, that would have been coincidental. But the vast majority don't hit. They're all misses. And in my last video I mentioned how when you're looking into coincidences, you need to look at all the misses, not just the hits. You want to look at the whole data set and see how many times there are misses, and then when you get a coincidental hit that it seems very unlikely, then when you get a coincidental hit, then you kind of work out the statistics from that. But the album title, I keep getting hits and not many misses at the moment. Most of these album titles, of all the album titles they could have named their album, the fact that it was named something connected with the Travis Scott concert is coincidental. Yeah, you would. The odds are you would expect that to have been a miss, and we've got another hit. So that's the first thing. But then it goes further because there's some more weird things. Somebody pointed out to me the lyric that was sung when Travis Scott wears the Pearl Jam top in the video, and have a listen to this. Niggas dying for that chain around my neck, that's life alert. Hopefully you could hear that. So he says, N-words, dying for the chain around my neck, that's life alert. That is the line that he says at the moment he wears the Pearl Jam top. And that is another coincidence, another very unfortunate line when you start thinking about this, and I'll get into this. If you look at he's got a lot of lines in this song, and of all the lines, most of them don't. If he had sung any other line underneath that moment where he's wearing the Pearl Jam top, it would have been a miss, and I would have been like, oh, okay, nothing there. Possibly the escape plan line. There is a line here he says about Helter Skelter. If he had said that, I would have been like, conspiracy theory. But most of them don't hit, apart from this one. And this one is probably the worst line you could have said at that moment for a conspiracy theorist looking for links. Because he basically says, people dying for the chain around my neck. That's kind of literally what happened, right? People dying for the chain around my neck. The crowd were, in their enthusiasm to get close to Travis Scott, they literally, in one sense, crushed themselves to death. Now, I know that's unfair because of the crowd crush phenomenon. They didn't really realise that was happening. It's not fair to say that. But in a sense, that is kind of what they did. They were pushing to get to Travis Scott so much that they died to get close to him. So, people dying for the chain around my neck. Kind of what happened, and he might have meant that in various ways. I don't know whether in his ego that was something that he wanted. He wants people to die for the chain around, like that's a good thing, or whether he's saying it, pointing out like that's a bad thing. People are dying for the chain around my neck. Isn't that ridiculous? I don't know, but it's still coincidental. And then that's life alert thing. I didn't really understand what he meant there. That's life alert. So I DuckDuckGo'd it. And the very first result that came up is this: Life Alert official website. I've fallen and I can't get up. And I thought, oh man, this can't be another hit. That's like a really unfortunate thing to come up on the top thing. I've fallen and I can't get up. And it's the name. Life Alert seems to be some kind of medical alert system for elderly people. And their whole catchphrase is "I've fallen and I can't get up." Obviously, that's how people died in the festival. They fell and they couldn't get up. It was the crowd collapse moments. Pardon me. I've fallen and I can't get up. And this is an American thing, I think. So I'm British, so we don't have this here, but it seems to be quite famous. I'm assuming in America, maybe it seems to have some kind of notoriety. All of these Google images, I've fallen and I can't get up. I've fallen and I can't get up. That seems to be their catchphrase. Lost my page. Sorry, hang on. Where's that gone? Yeah, it says adverts like this. And this one.
At home? Help! I've fallen and I can't get up.
And that phrase, and there's loads of parodies of it. So I'm guessing it's quite famous. I'm having I've fallen and I can't get up. So that's the line he used right over the bit where he was wearing the Pearl Jam top. That's Life Alert. And it just it reminds me of a Darren Brown experiment. This is exactly what he would do, and I could never tell whether Darren Brown was real or whether he was part magician. He would always say that the power of the subliminal and the suggestive is very, very powerful, and he would set something up like this, and he would put little lines like this, and maybe in people's minds, in their subliminal suggestive mind, when you hear that's Life Alert, when you hear Life Alert, you think I've fallen and I can't get up, is what people think. And maybe you think that, and you see the Pearl Jam top, and you see. I was never sure whether Darren Brown was part magician or part genuine, and it really was this. I don't know, but it's either way. It's very coincidental that would be the line that he would use at the Pearl Jam thing, and the big catchphrase of that is "I've fallen and I can't get up." I don't know, and I don't know whether people think I'm reading too much into this. But for me, these are very weird coincidences, and there's more. So a again, on that line where he says that, look at the t-shirt. So that t-shirt there. So again, on that, dying for the chain around my neck, that's Life Alert. He also wears another t-shirt, which is this one here, which is Sid Vicious from the Sex Pistols. So I had a little look into this and thought, where's this connected? And at first I thought, oh, finally I found a miss. Because I thought, well, the Sex Pistols, I mean, other than the obvious, they're just their punk, living life wild kind of ethos that connects with Travis Scott. There's no crowd crushes or nothing obvious. But then I had another think, and I thought, actually, hang on a moment, there is something really obvious about this. It's got the dates of this Sid Vicious's deaths right on the front of it, 1957 to 1979. And there it is. I mean, I don't know whether you can see that in the video, but that is the that he died aged 21, Sid Vicious, 1957 to 1979, and so this is an example of a person who dies young, lives life fast, dies young. And I thought, well, what's the average age of the victims who died in Astroworld? And the average age of the first 8 who die is 21. And the average age of the first 9 who die is 21. And it's only poor old Ezra Blount who's so young that he pulls the average age down to 20. But still, the first 8 or 9 average age 21, he died at 21, is another slightly... I would have felt more comfortable if that didn't hit, and it did hit. Again, 21 on the dot. Now, you could say that the average age of a Travis fan is probably about 21, and the average age of most people at Astroworld was probably 21. So, it might not have been so coincidental, but still kind of coincidental, I think. Pretty close. I think he's wearing this top. You could just say Travis is wearing it because this is his ethos. He likes the idea of people who live fast and die young. So is it more of a cause than a coincidence? It's very suggestive. Very blurred lines between these being coincidences and actually causes. If this is a Darren Brown experiment, he would be saying these are actually causes. But I don't know. It's all very strange. I don't understand it. And then there's one other hit here, which is the name of Travis. Again, somebody pointed this out, and I was expecting this to be a miss, and we just got another hit here, which is that the meaning of the name Travis is to cross over. I think it's from traverse, to cross over. It's the occupational name for gatekeepers and others who collected tolls at bridges and fords. And this was his whole thing, wasn't it? It was like to cross over. It was the crossover to the astral plane. See you on the other side. That was the big caption he had. See you on the other side. It was a portal. The whole theme. His name's Travis. To cross over. I don't know what's going on. There's that, and then so that's another hit. And just more coincidences that are just getting weirder and weirder. And then there was 2 other things I just wanted to mention that were slightly just in the whole mysterious thing. Some people would mention this "Will we survive" sign, and feeling very prophetic and strange that somebody had that sign, "Will we survive?" But what I found stranger about the sign was that it seems to be the only sign. I've watched the gig, and it seems to be the only sign that anybody is holding. You would have expected loads of signs like "We love Travis" and all this kind of stuff. It's just one sign, and it says "Will we survive?" Very strange. There is a video here where somebody has a kind of close-up of the sign. I'll just see if I can play this now. And on the back of it, you can see it says "Mosh Pit," and it's got an arrow pointing down. And I think the whole point of the sign is that will we survive the mosh pit? Mosh pit down here, will we survive? And this is whole Travis's theme of like, will you survive the rodeo? Is this idea of will you survive, or will you get an injury or get passed out or not? This is the whole ethos he promotes. It's a big you got to rage, and will you survive the rodeo? You got to be up for it. But I think little. So again, it's not so much coincidental and prophetic as it is. This is people playing a very dangerous game, not realizing how close to the edge they actually were, pushing to the edge and not realizing how close they were. Will we survive? They were thinking, will we survive, or will we have an injury or get passed out? Not thinking that actually you might actually die here. This isn't. This is a bit dangerous. So, but yeah, the fact that it's the only sign, I thought was weird. That was just a mysterious thing to me. And then the only other thing is the Smurf thing. Some people know about this, but apparently in the medical code, the event organizers code, they agreed to call dead people, anybody who passed away, as Smurfs. That was a code word, and they were going to use Smurfs as their code word. Now, I don't know if that's weird or normal. I can imagine there being arguments for why it's a normal thing to protect somebody, maybe people who are listening in, or I don't know. I can imagine it being normal, but I can also imagine it being strange. If somebody's told me that that was a strange thing, that wouldn't surprise me either. But what I found strange about it is just the blue Smurf thing, and the fact that it's, when you think of Smurfs, you think of blue, and Travis Scott was wearing this blue top, this top with these blue people going through the doorway and then turning red. And I thought that was this one. I might be grasping at straws a bit too much, but you know, some people were saying witnesses were saying that the people were turning black and blue from lack of oxygen, but could be grasping too much at a coincidence there. But I found that a little bit strange that they're called Smurfs, and they literally did turn blue, and particularly his T-shirt with the blue people. But anyway, yeah, those last two are just little mysteries. But the first ones, with the life alert thing, people dying for the chain around my neck, the binaural beats, and the Sid Vicious T-shirt, 21 average age, just all seems too coincidental to me. It's very strange. Now, so I don't know what to make of it all. I know there is two types of people. There are some people who, for this, is like, this is way more enough evidence than they need. They are totally decided there was obviously something more going on. There was something satanic, or something in the spiritual realm, or something planned and premeditated. They're sure something is going on. But then I know there are some very skeptical atheist types who would look at this and just say, no, this is pattern recognition. This is, you're just finding coincidences where there aren't any. You're reading into it too much. I know there are some skeptics, and one way to prove me wrong, well, where I stand at the moment on this is, I'm kind of in the middle. One way to prove me wrong would be if you could get like a Teletubbies episode, or a Simpsons episode, or some other random concert, and then do this same thing where you can find loads of little connections and make this Teletubbies episode seem like it's satanic by getting loads and loads of connections up to satanic things. If you could do that with something totally random and have the same effect, then that would be proof that this is just pattern recognition, finding coincidences where there aren't really any. But my suspicion is that these coincidences are going beyond what should be statistically expected. Just feels too strange, too suggestive, too weird. So yeah, I side on the thinking there's something more to this, but I can't quite commit all the way to it because it's so far-fetched. But I just wanted to share it because it's just really weird, and I thought it was worth sharing. Okay, that's all. Bye bye.